I have a chronic health condition called contact dermatitis. In this video, I'll explain my story with the condition and how it affects me playing card games. Most people may know me as a card game content creator, but I also work in the healthcare field. I'm actually a nursing student and also a certified nursing assistant, so I do work with patients on a regular basis. After I resigned from my job as a card game designer, I always had healthcare as a backup plan, kind of following in my parents' footsteps as they're both nurses too. After about 7 months working as a nursing assistant, I developed contact dermatitis on my hands, which is basically an allergic reaction some people get when they're exposed to a substance. In my case, the substance was most likely washing my hands, soap, hand sanitizer, all of these common cleansing agents that healthcare workers use. I wash my hands dozens of times a day as a healthcare worker, probably at least 100 times a day, and it was pretty unsurprising when I got this condition, especially after I found out that it also runs on my mom's side and it's likely partly genetic. I'm not going to get into too gory details of my condition, but I will generally explain the symptoms I get. If I do not put on lotion on my hands or rest my hands from washing my hands with soap and water repetitively, I can get redness, scratches, cracked skin, cuts, sores, and if I don't take care of myself, my skin integrity will lower. I can have skin breakdown to the point where if someone squeezes my hand, it could open up my sores, maybe potentially causing bleeding. And it's just not a very fun condition to have. The condition ebbs and flows. It can be really bad some days, it cannot happen, but it is a chronic condition since I do work in healthcare at least a few times a week, and it's something that I just have to manage. The condition I've noticed gets really bad when trying to work 16-hour shifts sometimes, so I can afford what I want to afford before. And because of the condition, I can't work as much. I try to work no more than 3 to 4 times a week because if I work 5 times a week or so, my hands get really bad, really dry, and it's just not very fun. Like I said before, I need to put on lotion religiously to maintain the skin integrity of my hands as my hands get very dry very quickly when they are damaged like this. I know my friends and colleagues don't mean to do this, but sometimes they'll laugh at me and criticize me when I'm trying to put on lotion while doing a casual conversation. I know they're not really bullying, but when they say things like, "Why are you putting on lotion while we're talking?" Or "What are you going to do with that lotion?" This guy is always carrying around a bottle of lotion. It kind of gets to me sometimes, I'm not gonna lie to you. Since if I don't put on lotion on my hands, they're going to bleed. And I don't want to bleed on anyone's hands, cards, myself, or anything else. So it just kind of sucks. Obviously, this condition has affected my daily living. I have to be very aware of things like the temperature of my water in the shower, to wanting to go to a spa date with my girlfriend, to shaking someone's hand, because if they shake my hand tight enough, they can cause my cuts, if I have any, to bleed out, or just cause me more pain than necessary. So it's the constant awareness of my own skin integrity that kind of is the worst part of the condition, just having to be aware to put on lotion, buy Gold Bond lotion, buy something so I can maintain my skin integrity. And it just kind of sucks because I actually do like helping people in healthcare. I actually do like helping patients, but washing hands, trying to maintain infection control, which is the most important thing in healthcare, has negatively hurt my life and has been mentally taxing, especially since my condition does affect me with card games as a card game player and a card game designer. Obviously, with lower skin integrity and cuts on hands and pain when stretching the hands, it can hurt to play card games sometime. I used to play a lot of Magic Commander in the past, But when you have a 100 card deck and it's sleeved up with these square cut sleeves, these sleeves sometimes can be so sharp on my hands. I haven't bled from the sleeves before, but it can be uncomfortable. It can be irritating. The bigger the deck is, the more I have to stretch my hands to shuffle, and these corner cuttings, these constant shuffling of the cards in Commander, it partly made me want to leave Commander, and it's why I stopped playing Magic the Gathering Commander locally. The shuffling became just too much. As a card game player, these games with bigger decks and needing sleeves to shuffle or needing sleeves for tournaments has hurt me. A lot of these sleeve companies, they'll have these pointy sleeves that just hurt to shuffle. And there are very few companies with rounded off corners for their sleeves to help alleviate the sharpness of these corners. There is one company I found with rounded sleeves for their corners, but they cost like $20 for 100 sleeves, which is like almost double the price as these square cut sleeves you can buy affordably. I've talked a bit about my lower skin integrity, so my condition also affects me wanting to shake someone's hand at a tournament. It's caused me to partly do more fist bumps over handshakes, because if someone squeezes my hand too tight, like a firm handshake, it can give me some more pain, open up my cuts, etc. So that's part of why I do fist bumps. So yeah, having lower skin integrity and this kind of skin condition on my hands makes me think differently about card games. I've only had this condition for a little over a year, so technically it is chronic, but I think to myself, the world would probably be better if we had card games not needing sleeves for tournaments as much, shuffling with unsleeved cards, having sleeves without square cuts with rounded corners to prevent cuts or irritation on people's hands, using less cards needed in a deck for game design, not needing to shuffle cards as often inside of your deck, like less tutoring cards, and also just being aware of just treating someone right when you meet them at a tournament. Maybe instead of doing a handshake, you can do a fist bump or assess their hand condition beforehand, or just not be too firm when you shake someone's hand sometimes. I know this is kind of a depressing video overall, but I will say I'm very blessed, I'm very lucky. This condition is not as bad as it may sound like. I don't put any pictures of the condition in this video because it isn't that bad, but it can feel bad, and a lot of people have it worse than me. There's a lot of people with worse skin integrity issues than me, or maybe no hands, even, amputations, and they can't play card games. But I want card game fans and businesses to be aware that there are people who have worse conditions than mine, who have skin integrity issues, who have tactile issues, and they need to be thought of. These people want to play your card games, but they don't want irritation from square cut sleeves. Please round your sleeves overall. If you're a game designer, please require us to shuffle less cards if possible. Try to round the corners of your cards so that way you don't cut our hands or irritate our hands in general. Try to not require us to stretch out our hands with your cards like some Beast of Busco stuff if possible, because that can be too much if you have low skin integrity. And just please be more aware if people do have conditions when playing card games. Because yes, I do believe card games are for everybody, and I want to advocate for people who have more issues than just my own, maybe visual impairment issues like making text bigger, or hearing issues trying to make cards require less vocalization. We can make card games more accessible because, again, they are for everybody. And honestly, I don't think the stuff I'm asking for my own tactile issues is a huge deal. I don't think it's as hard as companies to round off their sleeves as much as you would think it is. There's just not enough need for it as people put it out there. But these small things I think can be done for people like myself and for others out there. Anyways, that's my video for this week. Hope you guys gained something from it, learned something new about contact dermatitis and some accessibility stuff. I don't like doing these kind of one-take videos so much. I like doing more essays, but if you guys want more of this kind of content, please let me know, and I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself. See ya.